You cannot go on with your life. You feel like there is no purpose in life anymore because you just lost someone you really love. And that's something that comes after that is grief. Why it's so hard to grieve, why it's so painful, and almost sometimes impossible to get over the huge, intense pain. Let's talk about grief. Grief is a huge separation from someone that we attached to. And it's a process. Grieving can take days, or it can take years, and it can even take decades. And while it's impossibly hard to lose someone you really love, whether it's a family member, your child, your parents, your siblings, your partner, with knowledge, you can live through that wave of pain. Expecting that there will be no pain, then it's denying that person meant something to us. And in denial, a lot of people spend years after they lose someone. And this is what happens. When we deny the pain, we start to work hard. This is a symptom of denial. We start to distract ourselves, to zone out of the pain because it's too painful to admit and to accept. Remember that the final stage of the grief, this is where you actually go on, is letting go, accepting, embracing the most amazing moments you had with that person, and going on with life, finding joy again. Does that mean that you will be the same as you were when you had that person in your life? No, you won't be the same, because physically and emotionally, we attach ourselves so much to the people that we love that detaching is hard and difficult and sometimes even impossible. However, you can still find joy and happiness in your life. Grief is a process that naturally has a couple of stages. And jumping through those stages, it's tricky. It's the rabbit hole, really. Because if you've missed the denial, for example, stage, or you've missed the anger stage, then they're going to catch up with you. And I'll explain why. So first, when we should separate grief, someone who has been preparing themselves for losing a loved one, which is when your partner or someone you love, your child, your parent, or your friend is terminally ill for months or for weeks, that you will lose that person in the future, maybe very soon. And what happens is you naturally prepare yourself. You know that you will live without that person. But in many cases, we just lose suddenly, unexpectedly. Accidents, illnesses, cancer, that is very progressive, attacks, abuse, drug abuse, and overdose. There are so many different, this universe really is so rich in the ways how people can die. And when we lose someone we love, the pain is so strong. The pain will be strong depending on your beliefs. And this is very important for you to understand. You maybe notice that some people lose people they love, and they are able to function and even find joy pretty fast. Some people call them selfish because, oh, they didn't grieve enough. It's the level of awareness of a person. We come into this world by ourselves, and we leave this world by ourselves. So naturally, you were supposed to not be attached to someone so close that you say, my life doesn't matter without that person anymore. Naturally, you were supposed to be by yourself in the community, right? In the family, but still survive losing your family members or your community members. When we lose someone very suddenly, the intense of your pain will be defined by the beliefs you had when you lived with that person. For example, if you used to say, I can't live without that person, I'm gonna die. What I would do without you, you are the sense of my life. You're everything I want. You are everything I ever need. You are the reason I live. So by these words, you create a very strong belief for your subconscious mind. And your subconscious mind, trust me, very primitive. And it will decide, oh, she or he's going to die without that person. Okay, so let's give them panic attack. Let's give her or him panic attack when they lose someone, or anxiety, or intense pain, or it's like a part of me died. Very dangerous thing to say. What you say to yourself, you will feel in your body. Remember, you might not notice that. Go test it, how your body reacts to words. Please read those. It's a Stanford University, it's Oxford University, it's the Boston Medical Research Center. They were doing really nice behavioral and cognitive tests that prove that whatever you tell to yourself or whatever someone tells you, your body will react to that, especially to the word that you tell to yourself. So when you tell yourself, a part of me died, that's exactly what's going to happen. You will feel incomplete. You will feel like you're not whole. You will feel like there's no point in living. That's when we have grief depression. Years and years, can be decades. People cannot overcome that pain. It's not getting over it. It's overcoming means riding, right? Overcoming means riding on a wave of pain. So grief has stages. Stage 1 is denial. It can be 1 second, or it can be years. You probably have heard about the news when mom loses their newborn child and they still come to the nursery room and they act like the child is still alive. Denial can be very strong because it's a sudden, traumatic, isolated experience. Denial is when we cannot believe that happened. We cannot see our lives without that person. Or we cannot really imagine now, what's now? What's now? The more dependent a person is, and we're talking about codependency, we are talking about attachment, we're talking about abandonment fears, we are talking about fear of rejection, loneliness, and isolation, and failure. All of these fears, they will intensify this stage, the denial stage. In this stage, psychologically, different things happen. Either you imagine that person hasn't actually passed away, it's like everything is just the way it is, or we say it's not happening, I can't believe. So this kind of overwhelming thoughts. Another stage is anger. Anger is strong. Anger comes when we are angry at that person who passed away, or we are angry at ourselves. Regrets, anger, frustration, pain, all of these things are coming up and they show up and then it's a very necessary stage sometimes for people to really get that anger out. Because if they keep it in, the body will keep it in. The body cannot hold a lot of suppressed emotions. It will talk to you to release them, and it will be a very painful symptom. Another stage is pain. Once the anger is over, there comes like a deep pain. That's a depression, numbness, zoning out, this feeling like you can't even feel anymore, lack of purpose. The fourth stage is acceptance. That's when the pain is over. If you are able to learn how to ride the pain, not deny it, not going overworking and working long hours, but actually riding on that pain, accepting that, oh yes, I am in pain, then it will be easier for you to transition to acceptance. Acceptance stage is when you release and you feel a huge emotional release. You feel the hope again. It could be happening in 1 month, or it could be happening in 20 years. We never know, depending on what words you told yourself. If you defined your happiness by being around that person, yes, your grief will be strong, intense. If you're an empath, yes, your grief will be more intense than if you're not. And empathy is a gift. However, it can be a hell as well. And the empaths, they feel the world much deeper, but at the same time, they feel the pain much deeper. The fifth stage is the letting go. Once you accept and you start to see hope again, you start to let go. You start to let go. What happens is you integrate the best, most memorable moments with that person, and you start to create a new life, right? To create a new hope, to create joy, to create happiness, to cultivate love again within yourself, towards yourself and towards everyone else. It's very important if, and through all of these stages, you have someone, you have a support. Having community, having family, having friends, having your hobby community gatherings can also help if you don't have anyone around you. And so this is one of the crucial moments, the support from other people. Human being and human being, they heal each other. They heal each. It's a natural process. Someone who supports you, the compassion, that energy heals other people. If you cannot get over grief because you don't know how to live again, then find someone who knows how to ride that pain, how to ride that wave of pain so that you have that release, that acceptance, someone that knows how to work with grief counselors, grief therapists. We need help in dark times. But once you get it, once you understand it, once you gain the knowledge that, oh, this is the process, I don't have to shut it down. I don't have to numb it, to distract it. No, I can just find a support and I can gain the knowledge and I can let go and go on with my life. So I hope this was valuable for you. Please remember your subconscious mind is strong. It attaches. Ego attaches so much. Everything that hurts inside of you is the ego. Remember, every pain, every emotional pain you have is the ego part. Soul and consciousness doesn't attach to human beings. They love human unconditionally. Consciousness loves, like it is love, right? It is an unconditional love, but subconscious mind has ego and ego attaches. Work on that part of you and you will see a huge release. My name is Kate Semeniuk. I'm a hypnotherapist. And if you need help with your subconscious mind to understand the grief process and to really live through all of those phases and stages, you can contact me. You will find my contacts below in the description. I love you all. Be healthy emotionally and physically and appreciate every single moment you have with your loved ones.